This week's author is Larry M. Keaton. Larry's first story for Mysteries to Die For was Who Killed the Pharaoh Cheat, the first story of Season 7, Games People Play. We welcome Larry back to the Mysteries to Die For morgue. Welcome to Mysteries to Die For. I am TG Wolff, and I'm here with Jack, my piano player and producer. This is a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you in the heart of a mystery. All of our stories are structured to challenge you to beat the detective to the solution. Jack and I perform these live, front to back, no breaks, no fakes, no retakes. The rules for law and order create the boundaries for civil coexistence, and ideally, the backdrops for individuals, families, and companies to grow and thrive. Breaking these rules puts civil order at risk. And while murder is the big daddy of crimes, codified ordinances across municipal divisions, counties, states, and countries show the nearly endless ways there are to create mayhem. This season, we put our detective skills to the test with murderless crimes. This is Season 8, Anything But Murder. And we welcome you to Episode 16, where house arson is the featured crime. This is First Reports Are Rarely Right by Larry M. Keaton. All right, Jack, so what are we going to use for our bass?
Whoops, there we go. Now it's on. Apparently, I just leave this thing on constantly and never notice. We are going to use... Hold on, I got to find... There we go. This is called... The setting is called Yang Quinn 1.
So for those who listened 2 weeks ago when we dropped, and Jack totally muffed our intro, I will say good job this week, Jack. You got it. You nailed it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as I was playing it. I was like, it's the right key and everything. This is nice.
Everything was in the right place.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you ever doubt that we don't do these live, listen to episode 15.
Look, just ignore that episode, actually. I mean, just skip past the first 30 seconds. The rest of the...
I don't know, the first 30 seconds were highly amusing.
Okay. I find that a little insulting. I try my hardest on this podcast.
Oh, please. You refuse to clean up anything that I screw up. That's why we now have to put in the intro that we do these live, because you won't fix when I screw up.
Funny thing is, originally, that whole concept was more out of laziness. I just didn't want to edit. But that was when I was like, what, 15, 16?
Yes, yeah.
So I think that was okay that I was lazy back then.
Well, and it also was born out of that we both love live music and the anything that can happenness that comes with it.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Here we go. Hold on, I don't like that note. That's better.
Hold on, I don't like that note. The boss. My smartphone rang. The screen showed Monday, 22 July, 7:33 a.m., heat advisory in bold red, Cassandra Chase. Pulling on a long-sleeve glove over my left hand and forearm to protect a healing third-degree burn, I had debated whether to answer. 10 days earlier, she assigned me my first investigation. I worked undercover to reveal medical fraud. A roofing contractor with a back injury confronted me about my lack of construction skills and sent me tumbling off a 2-story house. I carted myself home. My sister-in-law Wendy shaved the head wound and stitched me up. Ignoring Cassandra wasn't really an option. I needed the work to supplement my Army retirement check and to keep my murdered brother's detective agency afloat. Drake, I said. An hour later, armed with 2 cups of coffee, I stepped into the 4th-floor windowless office. Other than the 35-inch wall-mounted monitor cycling photographs of bald eagles and falcons attacking prey, the room was devoid of any personal clues about Cassandra. "What is it this time?" she said, peering over the rim of her brown-framed glasses. I handed her a cup and settled into the walnut captain's chair. "Caramel mocha, 2% milk, 3 Java shots, extra hot." "Why are you wasting your money?" she asked. Drinking alone isn't healthy. I think you're trying to bribe me. A wan smile crossed her thin coral-painted lips. In her late 40s, she maintained a runner's physique, kept her brunette hair shoulder length, and used minimal makeup. She wore a single strand of pearls that rested on a pale blue blouse. In our first meeting, I determined she was a no-nonsense professional with the determination, perseverance, and charm of Queen Elizabeth I, a favorite monarch as she had a Drake for a lover. What you got? She pushed a thick folder across her desk before tapping a couple of keys on her computer. The snowy scene crumbled into a photograph of a fire-damaged house. What do you know about house fires? I nodded at the screen. One shouldn't play with matches. Cassandra's expression matched that of my last boss, a 3-star general who also failed to appreciate my insightful remarks. Have you ever investigated an arson? Nope. And until you signed me that mail fraud case, I never handled one of those. How'd that turn out? You fell off the roof. More like shoved. I touched the sparse spot on my head, a benefit of parachuting out of perfectly sound airplanes and knowing how to land. Didn't I prove the guy was bilking the company? True, she said. How's the head? Another couple of weeks and I'll be able to get a real haircut. She clasped her hands and set them on the folder before her. My boss thinks you're a liability risk. I shrugged and leaned back in my chair. Yet, you still called me. Don't make me regret it. She pushed the file toward me. Ronald Phillips, the owner, states neighborhood fireworks started the fire on the 4th of July. The home is unoccupied. Her monitor showed 4 quarter-panel pictures. I asked, he's a hoarder? Claims antiques, family heirlooms, and the truck has collector value. I rose and went to the screen, tapped the picture of a 1940s Ford pickup. My grandfather taught me how to drive stick shift in this. I turned. Why isn't your investigator handling this? She's committed to another case. However, she's read the file and wants an inspection of the scene and statements from Phillips, the neighbors, and the fire marshal. His preliminary report is in the folder. I opened it, thumbed the 4 pages on counting letterhead, the applicant's claim, and the stack of pictures from inside the dwelling. She leaned back, interlocked her hands across her midriff, and slightly rocked the chair. Which is why I'm authorized to expend 3 days' compensation. So, Colonel, are you interested? It's tame compared to your other exploits. A mercy job. During my first investigation, I'd learned Wendy and Cassandra had been college roommates. Both were widows and each had a teenager in high school. My current workload was non-existent, so $1,800 would fatten the agency's thinning accounts, and I'd be increasing my detective skills. Boredom's always a challenge. I rose from my chair. A couple of things. First, the Colonel moniker retired. I prefer Drake. Like a male duck? It's Scottish, for dragon. And the second, she asked? I picked up the file. First reports are rarely right. The claimant. The hoarder pictures were enough to understand why Ronald Phillips lived on Slaughter's Inlet, some 40 minutes away from Cassandra's Clear Creek office. If not for the county's Heritage Park sign, I would have missed the narrow road into his 30-acre parcel. Shadows towering from cedars and Douglas firs hid the trail's car-jolting ruts that forced me to remove my sunglasses. Sunlit, flitted small patches of tree stumps dotting the landscape. I'd driven a half a mile when a wide-shaped grill of a Sevilla Hummer bounced its way toward me. I flashed my lights, and the driver responded by turning on their high beams. What the hell? Seeing no escape route, I jammed my Highlander into reverse, twisted about to see the road, edged to the right, pushed down on the accelerator. The cab filled with scraping sounds from low-hanging branches and bushes crowding the road's edge. I glanced forward. The vehicle closed the gap. Heart thumping, I increased pressure on the gas pedal, hit a rut, bounced, my recent head wound smacking the roof, a shot of pain. Off to my left, an opening appeared. I jerked the steering wheel. My car crossed the gravel strip, rocks pelting the undercarriage, down a slight embankment, jolted to a halt. The folder of papers in the front seat scattered on the floor. Damn! I slapped the wheel hard. Had I been a dragon, I'd been breathing fire. My would-be assailant passed, a white Hummer with tinted windows. On its door, a sign read, "Re-elect Donna Russell, D, County Commissioner." I inspected the damage, several deep scratches to repair. Pissed, I resumed down the road. Around a sharp bend, the muddy tidelands of Slaughter Inlet appeared to my right. Ahead sat a steel building, its double doors open. To one side, on a sizable piece of plywood, red letters displayed, "Solicitors Scram, Rest you dipshits, scoot." I donned my sunglasses and exited the Highlanders' chilled cab into what the weather reporter had described as egg-frying heat for Washington State. A fire plug of a man in blue overalls stepped outside into the shadows. His facial hair matched that of a scruffy brown bear, and in his hands he carried an aluminum baseball bat. I figured he was in his late 30s, early 40s. "You sellin' shit or just a dipshit?" He planted his feet and began tapping the club's blunt end in his left palm. At least it's not an AR-15. My gut nodded as I closed in. "Name's Drake. I'm here from the insurance company to see Mr. Phillips." Still smacking his palm, he shook his head. "When do I get my money?" Focused on his weapon, Army muscle memory took over. The last time I engaged in hand-to-hand combat, one of us walked away. I wasn't about to stand down. Pulverizing his sorry ass would end any future assignments. I could handle that, but not Wendy's volcanic eruption afterwards. "I need to go over the claim with you." "You go back and tell him I'm fucking tired of dealing with them. It's like I'm some crook ripping off what I paid every damn month. Didn't see him digging in their heels, scarfing up my premiums." His eyes narrowed, and he pointed the club's blunt end at me. "You hear me, buddy?" Despite the protective glove, my burn invoked memories of sizzling skin. I swiped wet salt off my upper lip and removed the phone from the side cargo pocket and snapped his picture. He stepped toward me. "What are you doing?" "Sending a text to my boss." Next, I strolled forward, keeping an eye on the bat. He jabbed it in my direction. "You can't do that." I stopped outside his swing zone. "Just did. You want your money? I need to be paid. Put the stick down and work with me, or wait for the claims adjuster to follow up." I checked my watch, which could be weeks, if not months. His face flushed red. "You asshole." I pointed to the building. "Shall we?" The hostile glare in Philip's eyes faded. "Screw it." He waved me forward. The whop, whop, whop of an industrial construction fan circulated hot air inside the auto shop. Over a pit sat a green and white 1968 Corvette. Phillips led me to a mini fridge and offered me a drink before we took chairs at a scarred oak desk. Next to me, a table overflowed with car part catalogs, automobile collector magazines, and several travel brochures. The one with the vampire caught my attention. "Romania?" "Delivered a 1973 Pontiac GTO Colonnade," he said. "That's my business, securing classic cars for buyers. Most are foreign customers. Can't get enough American vintage." He jerked his thumb over his shoulder to the car. "Got a carrier picking it up, so be quick. What don't your corporate clowns understand now?" Pulled out my notebook and asked, "First, when did you learn about the fire?" "Sam texted me a page," he said. "He's a neighbor who keeps an eye on the place, the grass cut, and gives me a heads up when that bitch Camps gets a stick up her ass." "Camps?" I asked. "HOA president. A real piece of work." He ranted for a solid 5 minutes, how he holds her responsible for ruining his parents' retirement years, how he had offers on the house but kept it to spite Camps since she lived across the street, how she dragged the county commissioners into the fray, how she had a drone everyone called Cyclops, and he now flips it off or moons it during his weekly visits to the house. From the upper drawer, he removed a buck knife. My gaze locked on his movements, my brain on hyper alert. I extracted a wooden pen from my shirt pocket, poised as a weapon in my lap. Do you think the fire was arson? Long blade open, he began scraping a black crud from his index fingernail. The blade's tip clumped with dirt. He pointed it at me. Yeah, that's what happened. Wouldn't surprise me if she lit the bottle rocket herself. Then he wiped the knife's edge on his pants and started the next fingernail. Have you talked to her? Tomorrow. I made a few notes and then studied him. There was rage in his dark eyes. Time to change course. About the belongings in the house. The company wants an independent evaluation. See any problem? He opened a side drawer and pulled out a 3-inch thick folder. I saw a box of pagers and asked them about it. There are 4 delivery notifications to the foreign dudes. When they buy a car, I send them one for tracking purposes. Like the car's been shipped. You know the deal. Cheaper than an international phone call and keeps prying ears in the dark. He slapped the file on the desk. Knew those corp pukes would demand proof. It's a reputable firm. A horn blared. He stood. That's the car carrier for the Corvette. I rose. What's the plan for the pickup in the garage at the house? He shrugged. Make me an offer. He went to the Corvette and drove it outside. As I collected the valuation sheets, I noticed his computer screen had a too thin, curly-haired brunette in a one-piece bathing suit lounging on a beach chair. The drink in her hand toasted the camera, and her smile had a noticeable gap between the front teeth. I heard Philip shout, "Hold on, I got another set of car keys." "Thanks," I said, exiting the garage. "One more thing, did you do any maintenance on the house?" He paused. "Yeah. Moss is a bitch, and the regular shit isn't working, so I had zinc sprayed on the roof. Now, when can I get my money?" he asked. "I don't know," I said. "Tomorrow I talk to the neighbors and inspect the house." Raising the folder, I continued. "This should help." "Watch for vermin," he said. "Definitely," I said, thinking, inside or outside the house? The neighbors. The next morning, en route to Philip's house on Meadowlark Lane, I enjoyed the breezy air carrying the scent of rain. On the horizon, dark clouds formed. Given the trip took 40 minutes, I called Cassandra and gave her an update on progress. Gave her my impressions of a man in a hurry. I didn't tell her about the near miss with the Hummer. There was nothing she could do about it. In an upscale neighborhood showing a noticeable decline, the dwelling served as a tool of revenge. 1980s construction, skin of chip gray paint, boarded windows, white ash sprayed over a shake roof. It sparked a memory of a squatting, sun-wrinkled woman with blank eyes, thumbing black beads through her fingers, praying for death. Several irregular green patches served as islands in a sea of brown grass. Splotches of moss dotted the driveway. Over the front door hung a flag I studied in American history. In recent years, it had become a political statement. Against a yellow background, a coiled rattlesnake and the wording, "Don't tread on me." The hackles on my neck stirred, sensing light footsteps on the sidewalk behind me. "Ugly, isn't it?" a female voice said. I turned to see a trim, mature woman, hands on hips, dressed in white. Blouse, slacks, teeth, and tennis shoes. "I've seen worse." She frowned. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" Pulled a card from my pocket and handed it over. "Drake. I'm from the insurance company to talk to the neighbors." "Teresa Camps, spelled with a K. I'm the homeowner association president." She pointed. "My house is right across the street." I gave a quick glance at her side of the road. Her manicured green lawn was an island in a sea of brown front yards. In her driveway, a Honda Accord's open rear door revealed a small mound of cleaning supplies. Seizing the opportunity, I offered to help unload. She accepted and opened the car's trunk. 2 red campaign signs laid atop 3 stacks of chlorine. Re-elect Donna Russell, D., County Commissioner, a commissioner who gets things done. I stacked 2 10-pound bags of chlorine pool treatment and lugged them into a spotless garage a drill sergeant would envy. Where do these go? Sitting on a corner shelf was a drone. In that bin, Camps pointed to a 30-gallon black plastic bin. I stuffed the chlorine bags in the tub with a nearly empty one. Where's the pool? Her glance at me lingered a bit too long for comfort. I'd been married once, divorced early in my career, and a second marriage never crossed the radar. And with what I felt were obligations to my dead brother's family, I wasn't looking for another relationship. Hot tub, she said, placing the supplies on well-organized shelves a command sergeant major would envy. Before you ask, she continued, I had several neighbors over hosting Commissioner Russell. It's election season and an excellent opportunity to show her the continuing problem with that damn house. Several owners have dropped their asking prices in order to sell, all because that man refuses to be a decent neighbor. Her tone was a combination of anger and frustration. Understandable, I said, and inclined my head to a drone on the shelf beneath a collection of batteries. You fly? I don't spy on people. Her pitch indignant and defensive. If that's what you're implying, I belong to a racing club. Right, I said. Have you seen anyone lurking about the place? She shifted on one leg. Only the lady from the county. Sam would know more. Sam, I asked. The next door neighbor. He's retired and at least keeps the lawn within HOA standards. I thanked her and crossed the street to Sam's. His lawn exuded the fresh scent of cut grass. Beneath a blossoming magnolia tree, a red sign read, Elect Sid Russell, R., Commissioner. The door knocker was a brass replica of a Navy chief's insignia. A spry, bald man with a faint smell of marijuana and a friendly smile opened the door. Morning, Chief. He smiled and said, She's on deployment. You the insurance guy? Phillips, neighborhood spy. I showed him my identification. He saw my military ID and asked, When you retire? Earlier this year. You? He raised a prosthetic hand. Medical in 2012. Mary Jane helps with the pain. I pointed to my left hand. 3rd-degree burns. We chatted about our injuries, his from loading a torpedo, mine from a down-burning helicopter. I removed my notebook from my pants cargo pocket. How'd you like John with Madame Pinocchio? Her long snout snicking in everybody's business. Using the drone, I asked? He grunted. Claims it's part of a neighborhood watch. You know, eye in the sky. I pointed to the flag over the neighbor's entrance. The adversarial relationship between her and Mr. Phillips is obvious. Sam chuckled. He's replaced it 4 times. A couple drops of rain blotted on my bare arm. Sam insisted we talk inside and led me into a pine-paneled family room. He served cold tea with a hint of ginger and turmeric. After trading a few war stories, I got back to business. He picked up where the HOA president pressured the county about the house. She's tried anyone who'd listen. Code compliance, fire marshal, building inspectors, even the health department searched for rodents. Didn't find a thing. I scribbled notes and then said, Phillips believes Camps had something to do with the fire. What do you think? He pursed his lips and then said, Not surprised. By any chance, did you see it? The missus and I were at Gaslight Park watching Seattle's flares in the sky. Stayed with a friend overnight. The next few questions focused on Philip's parents. Sam hadn't known them for long, but had visited a few times. They had a few antiques, as I recall. I noticed the election sign out front, I said. Isn't it odd that 2 people with the same name are running for commissioner? He let out a guffaw. You know the old adage, politics and bedfellows? This one is political incompatibility is grounds for divorce. When Sid and Commissioner Bitch, that's what we call her, divorced, she took everything, the hardware store to the toilet paper on his boat. His effort amounted to pure revenge. A broad smile broke out on his squarish face. Heard he's beaten her puny butt into a bloody pulp, metaphorically speaking. I take it Phillips is supporting the current commissioner. She was at his property yesterday. Sam chuckled. Hell will sell popsicles before he'd vote for her. The land is adjacent to the park and Russell wants to buy a boat ramp to access Slaughter Cove. The rain had stopped. Thanks, back to the grind, I said, thinking, what awaits? Inside the house. Interviews with neighbors took several hours. I learned little about the fire, but a deluge of opinions about camps. Voting her out required someone to step up. Philip's father did, except both parents died in a car accident prior to the election. Some saw it as an omen. Thus, no one had the gumption nor courage to take on the effort. I donned protective gear, jumpsuit, N95 mask, safety goggles, latex gloves before I clipped a minicam to my chest. I slipped behind the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, opened the door, and stepped through the threshold. Yesterday's warning popped into my head. Watch out for vermin. Like Cordot, after a day on the firing range, the stench of stale smoke clung to the air. The streams of sunlight that seeped through the sliver opening of the plywood covering the windows showed a mountain range of white, green, and blue sheets. Their irregular shape suggested boxes and furniture. Recorder started, I said, orientation. The front of the house faces north. I'm standing in the foyer facing south. To my left is west, and a small alcove with a series that serves as the lower stairwell. My narration continued, describing the brown carpeted stairs, showing splotches and speckles of soot, heavy ash, and hose tracks. Dark, smoky stains smudged the interior's beige walls and its parallel half-wall. I found a light switch and flipped it on. 2 canister lights highlighted a mountain range of tarps and sheets covering furniture. Sliding to the back of the house, I said. My body rubbed the protective coverings, and nothing stirred. I stopped, lifted a sheet, and filmed 3 stacked boxes in pristine condition. Reaching a T-junction, left went to the kitchen, right to a boarded-up window. Plywood covered the patio's glass doors off the kitchen and the window over the double sink. It lacked appliances, and a couple of red-caked plates protruded from a rust-stained metal basin. The cupboards were empty. A door opened into the double-car garage. I crossed the concrete floor to the 1940s Ford pickup truck, its hood open. Though the battery and hoses were missing, the engine block appeared well kept. Finished, I made my way to the stairwell. My cell phone chirped, "Wendy calling." I turned off the camera and answered my sister-in-law. "What you need?" With the recent hot weather, she called to check on me and the shopping list for dinner. Knowing my niece had more time, I asked, "Can't Nicole pick it up?" "She's working a double shift." "I'll get takeout," I insisted. "We can't afford it." "Damn it, Wendy, my retirement pay—" She cut me off. "Nicole and I are not your charity case." Heat seared at my neck and forearm. I couldn't stop myself. "No, you are my family. Accept it. I'm here for you and Nicole, and I have no place I need or wish to be." She wanted a grill. I suggested burgers or steaks. She requested portobello mushrooms, asparagus, and sweet potatoes. I acquiesced and estimated I'd be home about 5:30. Hanging up, I realized Wendy and I needed to have a heart-to-heart soon. Camera recording once again. The stairs creaked as I climbed. The carpet showed heavy concentrations of ash. At the landing, I veered left into a rear corner room. By this time, I'd become accustomed to the stench. The room was a chaotic mess of mushy wallboards, charred studs, and shaked shingles, some covered in white ash. I zeroed in on one shake tile and scraped the material into a small plastic baggie. The walls were a mosaic of irregular U-shaped smoke patterns. Next came the bedroom at the top of the stairs. A greasy, oily-stained tarp covered in a grayish powder lay on the floor. Mounds of grit ran along the walls. I zoomed in. Bzzz. Tiny flashes spewed from the heater's vent. Fuck! I dove to the ground. Bzzz. Sparks rained down on the tarp. For the second time in a year, my arms shot up to protect my face. Stinging smoke invaded my goggles. Heat licked at my exposed neck. I leapt up and backwards, slamming into the door jamb. My muscles tightened and my legs wobbled, wouldn't move. I stared at the flickering flames. My ticker battered at my chest wall to escape. Burning memory, sizzling flesh snapped my nerves to life. I nosedived into the hallway, smacked my head on the banister. Dazed, I tumbled down, feeling each step's punch to my body. I landed in a fetal position at the bottom. The crackling, hissing sound of wood and carpet in flames competed with the blood thudding in my ears. Overhead, red yellowish hues washed across the ceiling like ocean waves pounding the beach. I started hacking, coughing, and low-crawled outside beyond the steps. The rattlesnake flag, flapping, was the last image I saw. Fired. In my Army career, I'd been in plenty of godforsaken places, faced harrowing situations, and survived. Nothing matched being laid up in a hospital, my left arm cushioned in bubble wrap, and two scowling women at the foot of the bed like a double-barreled shotgun. Wendy fired the first shot. Damn it! I'm not bearing 2 Drakes in 1 year! Next to her, Cassandra launched her salvo, her eyes blazing. What the fuck were you thinking? Wendy reloaded and pulled the trigger. Nicole is worried you won't recover. Cassandra added, the boss is right, you're off the case. I clenched my sore jaw, peered at the pair through narrowed eyes. In a quiet tone that required them to hear, I said, enough. Sit down. Shocked expressions filled their faces. Silence blanketed the room. Neither moved. The curtain to my emergency cubicle slid open. A black linebacker-size, close-clipped, bearded man stepped into space. Ladies, I'm Dr. Rogers, and if you'll excuse us, I need to confer with Mr. Drake. I'm not leaving, Wendy said. Nor am I, Cassandra chimed in. Rogers looked at me for a decision. Their family, they stay. I glared at them, provided they sit down and remain silent. Both settled into plastic chairs along the right side of the bed. Rogers launched into his spiel. I suffered minor smoke inhalation, a slight concussion, and first-degree burns to exposed skin. I should remain overnight for observations. When I saw your third-degree burns, Rogers said, on your left arm and hand, I contacted our burn specialist. My heart skipped a beat. My stomach clenched into a knot. I heard the blood pressure monitor beep with an increased pulse rate. How bad is it? Pursed his lips. My colleague said the Brooks Army doctors did one hell of a job. A collective sigh of relief filled the room. Rogers continued. She put an extra layer of padding on it for protection while you're here. You can remove it when you're released. Given previous experience, I knew I could self-release by signing a waiver. I'm feeling fine. I'd like to leave now. The hell you will, Wendy snapped. To the doctor she said, when can he go home? With a concussion, he should remain overnight. I swung my legs right toward the tubes in my arm. I'm telling you, I'm good. Time to go. At that point, Cassandra stood. Her gaze laked on mine. You're staying here until released. I shot back. What about the fire marshal? Not your problem, Cassandra said. As of this moment, consider yourself terminated. Wendy rose. Cass, that's not fair. Fairness has nothing to do with it, her friend said. We can't afford to have him collapse while on company time. My boss is already going to have my ass about using him. The doctor excused himself and slipped out of the cubicle. I envied him. I'd heard enough. Tell your boss to take a flying... Drake, shut up! Wendy commanded in her mother's authoritarian voice. She's trying to help. Both women turned toward me and glared. I'd survived the fire. My luck ended as I stared at the estrogen-loaded double-barreled shotgun. Regrouping. Cleared from the hospital, Wendy drove, a weighty silence in the car. In the driveway, she faced me. Her gaunt face and red, tired eyes resonated. Rest today? No driving, no work, just rest. Is that clear, Drake? I grimaced, bit my lower lip, leaned over, took her hands in mine, and gulped. I'm sorry to be putting you through this. I squeezed tight, grabbed my clothes bags, and exited the car. As I climbed the stairs to my apartment, I heard, "I'll have Nicole check on you." The moment I stepped through the door, my smartphone buzzed, and the screen displayed Wednesday, 24 July, 07:55, KC FM. I answered, Drake. Mr. Drake, I'm Mike Brown, County Fire Marshal. You were at the Phillips house when the second fire occurred. We need your statement. No problem, I said. We have an appointment this morning. Not with me, Brown said. Rachel Quinn is working this case. She's in code compliance. Doesn't your office handle arson cases? I asked. Brown launched into a rehearsed spiel. The fire was residential. Most are accidental. If that's the case, it's a matter between the homeowner and the insurance company. Arson is tougher, as this one had no injuries or deaths and didn't involve other structures. It became a low priority, handled when it rose to the top of the queue. Should the cause be determined to be arson, a major hurdle would be the prosecutor's willingness to take the case to trial. He concluded, it's the least prosecuted crime in the county. The main issue is determining who had the most to gain. My next call was code compliance. Quinn was scheduled out until late afternoon, but I might catch her at the Board of Commissioners' morning meeting later. Per doctor's orders, I couldn't drive. Wendy wouldn't take me. Nicole was at school. That left Uber. The phone rang. Cassandra Case. Drake, I said. Checking on you, she said. You're at home, right? I shot back. I'm in lockdown. Happy? Have you talked to the fire marshal? My eyes closed and I took a deep breath and exhaled to a slow count. I understand. I'm off the payroll, but I'm not finished. The first time I was burned, I could do nothing. This time is different. I'm getting to the bottom of it. Dead silence. I checked my screen, still connected. Finally, Cassandra said, I'll pick you up in 20 minutes. The phone went dead. What the hell? Was she taunting me? If so, I'd... No solutions materialized at that moment, but I have an excellent track record of quick thinking when required. Cassandra's discovery. In the short time I'd been allotted, I'd cleaned up, dressed, and pondered the situation. Something gnawed at me. Something the fire marshal had said. I retrieved my hospital clothes bag and found the minicam, flipped open the door to remove the digital card. Empty. My mind raced. Had I failed to put one in? 3 quick raps at the front door summoned, and I opened it. A composed Cassandra stood at the threshold holding 2 cups of coffee. She pushed one towards me. Payback. I chuckled and lifted it. By any chance, is it laced with anything? I'm driving, she said. Before we go, where's your computer? I led her to the table and started the machine. She slipped a storage card into the reader. While you were asleep, I found the minicam and took the disk. Last night, I compared it to the pictures in the fire marshal's initial file. She forwarded the video until she reached the bedroom where the explosion took place, then stopped. You notice the mounds of ash along the walls? They're not present in the original photos of the room. When we see Quinn, we need to ask her about this. Okay, I said, and told her Brown's assessment of this ever going to trial. Cassandra nodded. Confirms what our expert says. The matter is in the company's lap. I added, and they settle and move on? She shrugged. All in the name of minimizing exposure. Perhaps, I said. What if we prove insurance fraud? Then what? A smile crossed her lips. What are you thinking? I grabbed the computer and my coffee. We better see Quinn, quick. The county. Slipping into the back row of the commissioner's chambers, it was obvious it wasn't a hotbed of excitement. I wondered what the three public servants thought, sitting on their perch and staring out into the field of empty chairs. Beneath each, a bronze plate identified them and their districts. I zeroed in on the woman from District 1, Donna Russell, the one who drove the Hummer 2 days earlier. Her thin face and gray bobbed hair curled my blood. She fit Sam's description to a T. I scanned the few remaining attendees and started to tap Cassandra's leg, and thought the better of it and leaned close, whispered, "Second row to the right, first seat, Ronald Phillips." "Why is he here?" she asked. "Next agenda item," the clerk said, "abatement of properties." I said, "I guess we know now." Commissioner Russell glanced at Phillips, who stared straight ahead. In a nasally tone, she said, "Madam Chair, our state legislature has finally given county governments a tool to recoup the use of tax dollars to clean up properties the owner refuses to do. In the past, we had to rely on liens, and that took years to collect. With the adoption of this ordinance, we'll be able to take care of nuisance properties, and if the owner fails to enter into a repayment plan within 6 months, we can auction the property off and replenish our limited coffers." Less than 3 minutes later, the ordinance passed. The chair said, "Do we have a plan?" Russell nodded. "Indeed we do. Rachel Quinn, our newly appointed Codes Compliance Supervisor, is preparing to address the next steps." Wearing a black pantsuit, her thin figure and curly hair were familiar. She stepped to the podium, snatched a glimpse of Phillips, and faced the board. "We have established a priority list. The first on the list is on Meadowlark Lane. It's a recent fire. We'll be reaching out to the property owner and his insurance company to clean up the property." "Is the company going to clean it up?" I whispered. "Shh," Cassandra said. "I want to hear this." My gaze gravitated to Phillips, who appeared hypnotized by a spot on the wall. Dismissed, Quinn exited the room. I rose. "I'm going to talk to her." Cassandra started to rise until we heard Phillips' name. "I'll stay," she said. Outside the chambers, Quinn headed toward a coffee stand at the end of the building. "Congratulations on your promotion," I said, sidling up next to her. "Let me buy that for you." "Thanks, but can't," Quinn said. "Ethics rules." She smiled, and the gap between her teeth identified her as the woman on Phillips' computer screen. "I work for the insurance company. Name's Drake. Mr. Brown referred me to you about the Phillips fire. He said you're handling it." "Drake? You're the one in the house yesterday." "I'm prepared to make a statement for you later today," I said. "I have some questions." She chuckled. "I should buy you coffee." "Why's that?" "Whatever you did, it got Commissioner Russell off my tail." I drew back. "I did nothing. Sparks flew from the baseboard heater. The damn place flared up and burned." She pulled out a business card. "Email me your statement, then we'll talk." She turned away. I stepped next to her. "Wait." She glanced over at the commissioner's chambers. "Make it quick. When you took pictures after the first fire, did you think the ash was heavy? You know, like piles of it in a second bedroom?" She frowned and pursed her lips. "Not really. There was soot and smoke damage," I said, "all the way down the stairs, but there didn't appear to be any in the living room. Is that normal?" She grunted. "I have an appointment." She marched toward the stairwell leading to her basement office. I said, "What will your bosses say when they learn that you have a history with Phillips?" She stopped, whirled around, her face crimson, and then scrambled downstairs. The chamber doors opened and Phillips exited, and I approached him. He halted. "What the hell did you do to my house?" "It sent me to the hospital," I shout back. "Damn thing's worthless now." I stepped into his space, clenched my teeth. "And I'm not dead." "Add it to the claim," he said. "Maybe your corporate clowns will move faster now that you're involved." "Not a chance," Cassandra said from behind us. Who asked you, lady? Phillips snarled. Careful, I said, stepping closer, smelling alcohol. She's my boss. Mr. Phillips, Cassandra said, your paperwork's on hold until our fire investigator has Mr. Drake's statement and video. His brown-bearded face reddened and his eyes narrowed. Ronald! Commissioner Russell's nasal tone sent a shudder down my spine. Fini, like I promised, I always deliver. Are you taking that long-awaited vacation now? She slipped her hand through his arm and guided him to the elevator. Cassandra stepped next to me. You know why he was here? Abatement? I asked. The county just purchased 30 acres of his land for $1.3 million. I said, and the first property to be abated on the taxpayer dime is his. What's your take? She asked. Being ambushed comes to mind. Another probing mission. If it wasn't so damn early, I'd suggest a drink, Cassandra said, as we exited the administration building and found a shade tree. I snapped my fingers. No time. We have to get to the house before someone destroys evidence. I don't have clothes, she said. We'll improvise, I countered. Cassandra frowned. Why doesn't that comfort me? Russell's Hardware was 2 blocks away. Outside the front door, barbecue grills and a filled 10-foot wide pool competed for attention. We made our purchases on the company credit card. She drove and called the chemist to analyze my clothes. We agreed, providing they had lunch soon. She rolled her eyes. Hanging up, she said, "It's not a date." Taking one for the team, I chortled and phoned Wendy with instructions about my clothes. Finished, I started making makeshift protective outfits from construction-grade plastic bags. Before Cassandra turned onto Meadowlark Lane, I had her stop. We'll dress here. Suits donned, she said, I feel like a California raisin singing, heard it on the grapevine. Booties covered our shoes. We fitted our respirators. Latex gloves and paper painter's hats completed the suits. I pulled out my phone and snapped her picture. Hey! Through the respirator, it muffled her shout. It didn't hide the disapproving expression. We parked and started for Philip's front door. The rattlesnake flag was gone, and yellow tape crisscrossed the threshold. I pushed the door. It opened. You can't go in there, a voice boomed from across the street. I turned and removed my mask. It's okay, Mrs. Camps. Mr. Drake, she said, approaching. Here to burn the rest of the house down? I nodded to Cassandra, who dropped to her knees and wormed her way beneath the tape. We're gathering evidence. She frowned. Why? Commissioner Russell said the county is tearing it down soon. So I heard. I went to the ground and low-crawled into the abode. The smoke stench blanketed the air, and this time, the first floor showed fire and water damage. What carpet remained squished black droplets as we stepped across it. I'm going upstairs, I said. You stay here. Like hell I will, Cassandra shot back. The ascent was methodical, as I tapped each step with the toe of my boot. Right boot, right side, left boot, left side. Then I hefted myself onto the piece of wood as if it were a landmine. Perspiration trickled down my brow and stung my eyes. If I ever wanted a homemade sauna, the solution was a plastic construction bag. Cassandra followed. Time moved like a solar eclipse. We reached the upper landing and went into the bedroom. I waved her to wait by the door and crawled across the charred floor. A turtle would have won the race. At the baseboard heater, I slipped my right-hand glove through the opening and ran it along the bottom. My neck hackle stirred. Someone hovered over me and tapped my shoulder. It's me, she said. I started to yell at her, but realized why waste my breath. I felt something solid. With my phone, I aimed the flash and camera into the vent. A burned battery lay near a molten rectangular of black plastic. I snapped the picture. Cassandra leaned closer, crowding my back. What is it? Seeing a mini circuit board, I said, it's a 9-volt battery and the remnants of a pager. I found 2 more and took pictures and removed the third and handed it to her. I stood, out the way we came. Outside, the sunshine increasing the sauna environment, I yanked off the respirator and sucked in a breath of fresh, warm air. "We're done," I said. We threw our makeshift outfits in Cassandra's Honda Civic trunk, along with our sealed findings in a plastic baggie. Across the street, the garage door opened. "Follow me," I said. The HOA president appeared. "Mrs. Camps, a question." "I have an appointment," she said. "Won't take more than a few minutes," I insisted. "Yesterday, before the fire, were you flying your drone?" "I had nothing to do with any fires." Her tone irritated. I stepped closer. "Were you flying your drone late yesterday afternoon?" She remained silent. "We aren't accusing you of anything," Cassandra interjected. "We need your help." "Yes," she said, "but I didn't. Can I see the drone?" I slipped past her before she answered. Camp started after me, but Cassandra engaged her in conversation. I studied the drone model and the control panel's frequency range, 9 kilohertz. "Thank you." Back in the car, Cassandra informed me that her chemist friend identified the white powder as pure zinc, and the other samples matched pool cleaning supplies, both rated as highly combustible. Pulling away from the curb, she asked, "Are all your exploits like this?" "No," I said, thinking, "only since working for you." All right, Jack, we've reached the deliberation. You've been especially quiet.
My bad. It's early. It's only 10:05.
It's early in Jackland.
Yeah.
So, Drake has a hot one on his hands, and he needs our help to put the pieces together on this arson case. Then maybe Cassandra will keep hiring him.
Maybe.
Here are the people on his suspect list, of course, in the order that we met them.
Naturally.
Jack Phillips, owner of the house and disgruntled claimant.
Yep.
Commissioner Donna Russell, the Hummer-driving road hog.
What a mean bitch.
I think technically we met her first.
Did
I
we?
probably have those.
Well, we didn't technically meet her.
We didn't technically
we just
meet her.
encountered her.
I probably
Very
have these
different.
in the wrong order. I'm going to have to change it for the anthology. Teresa Camps, HOA president, who lives across the street.
Okay.
And Rachel Quinn, the fire marshal, recently promoted to code compliance.
Interesting.
All right, so you got 4 suspects.
Okay.
Phillips, Commissioner Russell, Teresa Camps, and Rachel Quinn.
Alrighty.
Here are the facts, as Drake has unearthed them.
Yeah.
Jack Phillips inherited his parents' home after their too early death. He blames HOA president Teresa Camps for it. In retaliation, he let the home get run down just to be an eyesore. Which,
he's just a little petty as a person.
Yeah, petty. He's mean, but he's also grieving.
Yeah.
It's not rational. There's no implication that Camps actually caused the accident that caused his parents' death.
Yeah.
So.
Just made their lives hard as to older people.
Yeah, I think a psychologist would have a field day with him.
Those poor people.
Yeah. On his visit to Phillips, who owned a 30-acre property, Drake was run off the road by a Hummer with a re-election sign on the door for Donna Russell. So the implication there is Donna Russell was driving the car.
Yeah.
While interviewing Phillips, Drake sees a collection of pagers that Phillips says he uses to track delivery on restored cars to international buyers.
So it's Phillips pagers, and later it's Camps chemicals.
The first report found cause of the house fire to be errant fireworks. Drake and Cassandra found inconsistencies between the original photo and what Drake finds on scene.
Yeah.
Under protective sheets are untouched boxes and furniture Phillips is listing in his insurance claim.
So, and that is insurance fraud, right?
Because, if they're not damaged, then yes.
But isn't the suggestion that they're not damaged?
Well, he witnessed that the boxes were undamaged, but Phillips did list them on his insurance claim.
Oh, so they didn't actually see the furniture itself?
Drake did when he did his inspection.
And he saw that the furniture was not damaged?
Was not damaged. At the time he inspected, the stuff on the first floor sounds like it was not damaged.
Despite the fact that it was claimed as damaged?
Yeah. It sounds like that the fireworks landed on the roof, and the roof caught fire.
Okay.
So the damage was on the roof and second floor.
Yet some of the first floor stuff was still claimed.
Yeah, so when Drake went in, remember the truck was still in good order.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Okay.
the damage was on the second floor.
All right.
All right, continuing on. Phillips states that recent maintenance was limited to spraying the roof to protect against moss. It was determined that zinc was used, which is highly flammable.
Yeah. Okay.
So zinc on the roof, fireworks on the roof, bye-bye roof.
Yeah, I suppose.
HOA president Teresa Camps had a 4th of July party that included Donna Russell.
Why not?
She denies setting fire to the house, but she
course.
admits flying her drone, but says it's not to spy, even though there are many opinions to the contrary.
Well, again, she's just an asshole. I mean, I don't know what you want from her.
While Drake is inspecting, a second fire ignites from the baseboard heaters. Inspection after the fact uncovered batteries and melted plastic boxes and pager components inside the heaters.
Well, that's not good.
Nope. Rachel Quinn was the original fire marshal on the case. She's also the woman on Phillips' computer background. She was recently promoted to code compliance, and her first action is to use a newly passed code to tear down the twice-burned house.
Okay.
Phillips and the county just negotiated the sale of Phillips' 30-acre property for $1.3 million.
So the guy who was keeping it purposely run down despite the woman just sold it for a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, no. So he owns two properties. The
Oh.
one that he lives on where his auto mechanic place is,
Yeah.
that's the one he sold for 1.3.
So he's keeping the burned up house?
It's his parents' house. That's the one he's keeping run down.
All right. Cool.
Jack Phillips just wants what the insurance company owes him.
Okay.
Teresa Russell is behind on a re-election bid and wants the HOA for their votes.
All right.
Teresa Camps wants the eyesore gone from across the street.
And she's an asshole? Okay.
Rachel Quinn wants the promotion and to get Commissioner Russell off her back.
Okay.
And the county fire marshal noted arson is the least prosecuted crime and was difficult to determine who had the most to gain.
All right.
So, how should Drake rewrite the report to get it right the second time?
I don't know. Okay. So I'll be honest. I mentioned it earlier. I thought that the pool chemicals must have been used to help start the fire. I guess I don't know that now because it doesn't say anything about it in that
did.
deliberation.
Not in the deliberation. I'll maybe add that in. So I'm scrolling the
She
text.
had the chemicals, and then there were flammable chemicals around the pager, which to me suggested that it's a combination of Jack Phillips' pager and Teresa Camp's chemicals to start the fire.
Yeah, Cassandra says that her lab guys said that the residue was zinc and pool chemicals.
It was that pool chemicals comment. So
I can't
honestly,
find the passage.
this is kind of giving me Orient Express. Like they all did it. I know they didn't because they don't get along well enough to have all done it. If two people did it, it would have to be Jack and Rachel. I don't think they both did it though. So here's the thing. If Jack sold his property for $1.3 million,
Mm-hmm.
why does he need more insurance money?
Because he's greedy.
Maybe. But to me, if he needs money, he's got it. If he wants more than that, why? I don't know. That seems odd to me. He doesn't have the right motivation. So I'm going to say it's not Jack. As pissed off as he is at the world, burning down his parents' house, if anything, would actually help get like that property torn down for fire marshals or by fire marshals. Thus, that's kind of what Teresa wants. So that also doesn't kind of follow what he would do. Because if I want to keep a property up to be an eyesore, I wouldn't burn it down, you know?
Okay, so we have no Jack.
We have no Jack. Teresa's a dick, but she doesn't have the motivation to be doing that. She doesn't, And now the one thing that did make me wonder, so I guess probably the way that the device worked was they paged the pager underneath it, and that started the fire, right? Is that what we would assume?
I think the insinuation is that the pager and the drone worked on the same frequency, that 9 kilohertz,
Mm-hmm.
so that when she flew the drone over the house, it activated the pager.
That was my first guess, but then I thought, well, if she didn't do it, someone has to rely on the fact that she will go over the house. And she will, based on who she is as a person, but...
And I have no idea what the range of these frequencies is. If she lived across the house from the house, it may not have had to have literally gone over the house. I don't know how close it had to be.
Yeah,
but that's the implication with it being on the same frequency.
They asked if they had used the drone to go over the house, specifically to see if they had gotten closer. But that's not an important factor. You're right.
Well, it is an important fact that Drake asked if she flew the drone after he went in the house.
Oh, I thought it was if she flew the drone over top the house.
Let's scroll back.
Yeah, you're right. It is important that the drone was flown. I don't think it matters where it was flown. I think the insinuation is that it was used to start the fire, no matter where it went.
Okay, I agree with that. Doesn't matter where it went.
It was used to start the fire.
It was used to start the fire. At least the second fire.
The second one. The first one was, I don't know, Molotov. Someone just threw a firework up there. Or some dumb stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
So I don't think Teresa did it because that plan seems to have worked if anybody had done it. Teresa could have started that plan and had the drone fly over. Rachel or Donna could have set that thing because they also know Teresa's going to do it. I don't think it's her, and I don't think she'd use her own pool chemicals after the guy investigating the crime helped her bring in the pool chemicals. It's the most incriminating thing you could do.
Well, and he went into the house immediately after talking to her, right?
Yeah.
So the pool chemicals were already in the house when he went in.
Yeah. Oh. I guess you're right.
So I
wonder if that's on purpose or if that's something that maybe the author accidentally missed or something like that.
The pagers, the batteries. I don't know where the pool chemicals were, but whatever it was already in the house when Drake got there to inspect it.
Well, now we have to consider who had access to the pool chemicals and to Philip's pagers. Rachel, I don't think, would have access to the pool chemicals.
Well, but anybody could buy pool chemicals from the hardware store.
But the whole suggestion is that it's hers.
That is the whole
What's the point of getting pool chemicals? You could have used anything.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're gaming it, of course. Because, yes, they could have used any single thing. But if in this story they're using pool chemicals, the implication is that it's Teresa's pool chemicals. You're right. They could have gone somewhere else. But why mention it in this story then? Why mention that Teresa has a hot tub? It doesn't influence the story at all in that case. Unless it's just an unnecessary red herring. But you're right. Someone could have just stolen both. But by the look of it, it's pretty hard to get into Jack Phillips' property. But both of them can get into the property. Because Jack likes both of them, right? Because Jack's dating Rachel, and the one day we saw Donna leave the property.
Well, Rachel could definitely, because not only is she like dating Jack, but she was also the fire marshal on the first fire.
Yeah.
So she had access to the house.
Yeah. Well, it's an abandoned house. Everyone has access to it.
It's not abandoned.
There's no one living in it.
That doesn't mean it's abandoned.
Who's living in it?
It's locked.
So, windows.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not hard to get in. Plus, it happened on the top of the roof. No one had to get in the house.
The first fire happened. I agree, but to put the pagers in the heating vents, somebody had to get into the house.
Does that mean Jack had to be involved to unlock it? Or that someone just broke into it? It
Well,
didn't say that someone broke into the house.
It did not say someone broke into the house, and the neighbor Sam has keys, and I said the fire marshals went in and out, so I don't know.
I don't know. So the fire marshals had access. I suppose Donna didn't have access. It also seems to me that Rachel has the most motivation out of all of them. You know, I mean, what's Donna trying to do? Just get reelected? Like, what was her motivation again?
I mean,
that you read at the end of the
you say
deliberation?
just get reelected, but yeah, that's a big deal to her.
Yeah.
So she wants the votes from all the homeowners in the HOA.
So, what would burning down the house? How would that get her the votes?
Well, I think the thought is that this house is an eyesore and it's affecting property values. So, even those who don't particularly dislike Jack, they're paying a price for his upkeep of the house.
But then what is she going to do? Say, don't worry, guys, I burned down the house, vote for me?
No, but the that whole thing that passed with the abatement that lets them tear down the property.
Oh, that's right. So she lit the fire so that they had an excuse to tear down the property?
That's certainly a theory.
I don't know.
They didn't really say whether after the first fire, if it was repairable. They said it didn't sound like there was, we'll call it limited damage.
Yeah. I feel like there's got to be some factor I'm missing. I guess probably I would have to go with, I want to go with Rachel. I feel like Donna has more in it and has more access to everything that she would need to do it. But like Rachel has the most motivation to have done it.
What do you think Rachel's motivation is? The promotion? Wait, that doesn't make sense.
What other motivation does she have? Are you saying she doesn't have any motivation?
How does burning down the house get her the promotion?
I don't know. But it would get her, I don't know. Why are you involved in this?
Sorry.
Are you trying to tell me it is Donna? Fine, we'll go with Donna. If it's Rachel, I'm going to be mad at you. And if it's one of the two people I already eliminated, then that one's my fault. We'll go with Donna because you're mean.
Well, you made up for not talking during the story by a very, very healthy inner monologue.
I don't know what's going on right now.
Before we go into the big reveal, we want to remind you that Mysteries to Die For is ad-free.
But it doesn't have to stay that way. That's right. If you don't check out these authors, I'm going to start lobbying to
sell ads?
Yeah, advertisers.
Please check out our website for links to all of our authors and their websites and their backlists. This is really a collection of fantastic storytellers. There's something for every taste, whether you like hard-broiled, whether you like horror, whether you like cozy. There really is something for everyone among our authors. So visit our website, m2d4podcast.com. Go to the authors page and find your next favorite story.
We don't make money off of the authors getting their other books sold. I keep going, yeah, you better go buy their books or else we'll start doing ads. But that doesn't affect us either way. So still check them out because they're cool and they're really good at writing stories. But the more I think about it, the more I realize I don't know why I'm threatening this.
Because we like when people write stories for us.
Yeah.
And the more you buy their stories, the more they'll like writing for us.
I suppose that won't help this podcast from going under, though. Unless we start charging authors, which we do not do. But all right, cool. Well, yeah, go check them out.
All right.
Larry Keaton. He's the author for today.
Case solved. As Cassandra drove back to my apartment, I reviewed the film footage. How did I miss that? What? She glanced at the computer screen. I frowned. Something the fire marshal said has been gnawing at my gut. Who has the most to gain? Obviously, it's Phillips, she said. My stomach's rumbling protest reminded me that my last meal was yesterday's sandwich. I second that, Cassandra said. You like burgers? I pointed to myself. Damn rights. I'm a red-blooded, all-American, meat-eating burner connoisseur. Why, I tasted... A simple yes would suffice. She handed me her phone and told me to speed dial 9. It rang, and through the car's speaker, a woman said, Lily's Grub Shack. It's cash, she said, and spewed out an order for 2 specials with sweet potato fries, fried pickles, and mint shakes. We're 15 minutes away. Finished, she said. Continue. Mint shakes? I asked. You'll thank me. I cocked an eyebrow. This woman kept climbing my intrigue scales. Sure, Phillips is obvious, except he could have sold the house at any time. He didn't. Why? He blames Camps for his parents' retirement issues, and this is his revenge. She asked, what about the claim? When I went inside the house the first time, the damage was clear upstairs and traces on the first floor. Carpets had soot and the walls showed smoke stains. I tapped the computer screen. There were sheets covering the furniture. They were pristine. No ash, no soot, no smoke. When I lifted them, the boxes and furniture seemed clean. If I'd hazard a guess, I'd say Phillips seized the opportunity to increase his claim by placing the furniture in the house after the fire. He comes across that way, especially since he had appraisal reports ready to go. Cassandra slowed and turned into a gravel parking lot. A hand-painted sign on a slab of wood announced our destination. She kept the car running. I retrieved 2 paper bags that made my stomach growl in appreciation. She stopped me from digging in. I know a spot. Though the drive was short, my gut growled at the delay. She found a picnic table overlooking Puget Sound, with the skyline of Seattle silhouetted against the backdrop of Mount Rainier. Between bites, I continued to establish my case. All right, she said before taking a bite of the burger. Say Phillips didn't start the first fire. Maybe it was an accident. I swallowed a tasty morsel of jalapeno mixed into the burger's core. My eyes watered, matched the 2-alarm blaze inside my mouth. I grabbed the shake and sucked the straw hard. The cool mint soothed my flesh. You're a cruel, cruel woman, I said. She smiled. If I were, I wouldn't have ordered the shake. Banter aside, I continued. The first fire could have been an accident, with the bottle rocket hitting the pure zinc. Phillips had done it because whatever he was using on the moss didn't work. If that were the case and he planned to set fire to the house, why didn't he wait until after that fire to put all the furniture in the house? Mrs. Camps? Cassandra asked. I nodded. It sounds like it's her life mission to make Phillips keep the house up to HOA standards. But it's become a battle of wills. Consider his "don't tread on me" flag with the rattlesnake and her flying the drone. I stifled a smile as Cassandra waved a hand in front of her mouth and took a drink. Hot? I asked. She narrowed her eyes. If glares could shoot bullets, I'd be dead. I think Camp's drone set off the explosions of the baseboard heaters, I said. The 9-volt batteries connected to the pagers and the mound of pool cleaning supplies in the bedroom and downstairs point to arson. Her eyes lit up. Steel wool. My son and I did a science experiment where we used it to start a fire, and there was no residue when it finished burning. Exactly, I said, after swallowing a smaller portion of a burger, followed by a sweet potato fry. Which brings me back to Brown's question. Who had the most to gain? Camps, Cassandra said. The house is destroyed, and if Phillips doesn't clean it up, the county will. True, I said, but she's so adamant about following the rules, I can't see her breaking the law. It might be hard to prove, but I think the person who had the most to gain also has the most to lose. Cassandra's eyes widened. Commissioner Russell. I said, consider this. She touts that she's the one who delivers. In her 3-way primary, she's dead last, which must have galled her given that her ex leads the race. The hardware store she gained in the divorce sells pure zinc and pool cleaning supplies. With the house declared a nuisance, she's got a chance if the HOA votes her way. Wouldn't Phillips have to agree? Cassandra asked. I nodded. She was leaving when I went to see Phillips Monday afternoon. Cassandra swallowed the last of her burger. So, Phillips placed the batteries in the pagers in the heater. He wouldn't have time, I said, as I went directly to the house. They were already there. Then who did it? She asked. Camps? They hate each other, I said. But I bet Quinn got roped into the scheme. Russell was riding her hard to do something. As an ex-fire marshal, she knows explosives, and she's involved with Phillips, which is why the living room's contents and the pickup truck suddenly had valuation. My cell phone buzzed with a text message with capital letters asking, "Where the hell are you?" I pushed it across the table. My left forearm prickled, and no amount of scratching provided relief. Wendy checking up on me again. Claim closed. A $2,400 check for investigative services, and me using my GI Bill to enroll in a continuing education course for private investigator, soothed Wendy's concerns about my commitment. I was engaged in a class assignment when Cassandra Chase called. Where are you? She asked. Studying. I told her where. My task was to observe two people together. I'll meet you there for lunch and update you on the Phillips claim. She gave me her order and hung up. By the time she arrived, my subjects had departed. Now across the table, she said, the company's lawyers declined Phillips' claims. The sale of the 30 acres on Slaughter Inlet is under review by the state agency funding the purchase. Initial reports are the property was intentionally overvalued. A bribe, I asked? Amused, Cassandra said, the matter has been referred to the state's attorney general. Commissioner Donna Russell faces the challenges of running against her ex, corruption charges, and staying out of prison. Her only hope at this point is that they don't find Rachel Quinn. I laughed. I bet if they offer immunity, Quinn would love to stick it to Russell. Cassandra glanced about. Where's my lunch? I rose. Since you like spicy food, it's my turn to treat. She cocked an eyebrow. That'll give me a chance to go over a new assignment. My left hand prickled and shot up, palm out. Doesn't your boss think I'm a walking minefield? She stood and shrugged. Oh, definitely. Me? I'm still trying to prove. What is it you said? She brought her fingers to her chin. Ah, that's it. First reports are rarely right. I chuckled. Touché. The end.
So what, like 1/3 of me was right?
Well, kind of
Half?
all of you was right, because it kind of was all of them in a way.
It was, but I don't think it was really Camps. She just played a part, but none of it was really...
Well, I think Russell was the quarterback orchestrating it all.
Yes, Russell definitely was. And I knew Rachel had to be in on it, but like, I don't know, none of them could have done it alone, and that's what screwed me up.
Okay, so if we reverse engineer this.
Yeah.
So Russell goes to Camps and says, hey, what do I need to do to get the votes of your X hundred people in your HOA?
Yeah.
And she says, I want that house taken care of.
Yeah.
And so Russell says, what can we do? And so they come up with the scheme that starts the first fire.
Yep.
And the idea of it then is that Jack will have to take care of the house.
Yeah.
She goes to Jack and she starts working on his side and says, hey, what do I have to do to get you to take care of that house?
Yeah.
And he says, buy my 30-acre property for $1.3 million.
Yeah.
So I think that she was working all ends against each other. I don't think Phillips and Camps ever worked together. But
You're
Russell
right.
found the solution in both of them.
Yeah.
And Quinn just got caught in the middle when they needed somebody to plant the incendiary devices.
Yeah.
So, one night, 3 pawns.
Pretty much. So we got the big one.
You got the big one.
Woohoo.
So, would you like to hear a true crime story of arson?
Would love to.
So, this is from one of my favorite sources, Wikipedia. It comes the curated story of Thomas Sweat. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. It's Sweatt. In 2005, Sweat was arrested for serial arson. He pled guilty to counts including possession of destructive devices, destruction of building by fire resulting in personal injury, possession of destructive devices in furtherance of a crime of violence. I really like the word furtherance. First-degree premeditated murder, which is a felony murder, and second-degree murder. So here's the story. In his plea, Sweat admitted to setting fires for over 30 years. Most were set in 2003 and 2004 in the DC area. Sweat admitted to setting 353 fires. All of his fires resulted in property damage and some in personal injury, but 3 fires resulted in the deaths of 4 people. In 1985, Sweat poured gasoline under the front door of the house where Roy Picott and his family lived. Picott's sons, who had basement bedrooms, were able to escape unharmed, but his daughters, who slept on the second floor, survived with severe burns. Picott and his wife, who also slept on the second floor, did not survive. In 2002, 93-year-old Anna Brown's house was Sweat's target. At 4 in the morning, DC Fire responded to the house fire. They transported Miss Brown to the hospital. She died over a week later from her injuries. And a little more than a year after that, 85-year-old Lou Edna Jones was Sweat's victim. She was pronounced dead at the hospital. For his crimes, Sweat received the mandatory sentence of life in prison. There's a Wikipedia link in the show notes, and inside of that are additional links. This story, the true crime story behind it, was featured on a number of television shows. Now I'm blanking on the names of those, but the links to those episodes are in the show notes. So, truly destructive. It's not just personal property, but these fires alter people's lives and destroy them. See, proving that anything but murder can still be very, very damaging. About today's author, Larry M. Keaton, retired Army officer, county chief of staff, and director of a department that included code compliance and fire investigations. Larry M. Keaton has plenty of unique characters and situations upon which to base his stories. 51 years of marriage to his watercolorist wife has provided him with ample lessons of dialogue best suited for the printed page. His works have appeared in Mystery Magazine and Season 7 of Us, Mysteries to Die For, and most recently, the 2024 Derringer-nominated anthology, Larceny and Last Chances. He thanks Fire Marshal David Lyman and Assistant Fire Marshal Tina Turner, awesome name by the way, for their technical expertise. His website is LarryKeatonWriter.com. When I checked as I was prepping this episode, that was still in development, so make sure to come back. Larry's a really awesome storyteller focusing on short stories, so he is worth checking out. That wraps up this episode of Mystery to Die For. Support our show by subscribing, telling a mystery lover about us, and giving us a 5-star review. Check out our website, m2d4podcast.com, for links to this season and every season's authors. The anthology for the second half of this season releases in October. Add it to your Christmas and Hanukkah list and to your to-be-read list. Mysteries to Die For is hosted by TG Wolff and Jack Wolff. First Reports Are Rarely Right was written by Larry M. Keaton. Music and production are by Jack Wolff. Episode art is by TG Wolff. Join us next week for a toe tag, which you all know is the first chapter from a fresh release in the mystery, crime, or thriller genre, and then come back in 2 weeks for our next original story, where art theft is our murderless crime. It's Was It the Vermeer? By Erica Obey. All right, Jack, take us out. I wondered how you're going to resolve that.